German sips with a grin so wide. Pogs on the table can't hide his pride. Creator in the corner starts to glare. Madness sparks and hate fills the air. Stack 'em high, a tower of luck. Germans winning, it feels like pluck. Alice Matt's fury, a brewing storm. Visions of pogs in every form. Pogs are spinning, tables turning. Alice Matt's eyes with fierce fire burning. Germans' laughter echoes loud in a world that's pog-bound proud. Matt sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. And he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Alas, Matt fumes can't take no more. Pogs and slammers hit the floor. It's not about the game you see. It's about what fun could be. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann.
Hey Joe, this guy needs help with his car. I think he came from afar, like another state. I don't know, he just points at the stars. And the way that he talks is bizarre. Right in his leg, I know, must to make it a car. I don't know, look, it caught me off guard. Looks real strange in the dark. Look, it's here at the park. Bark! What the heck are you saying? Probably speaking some Spanglish. Oh my God, it's an alien. He's a foreigner, ain't he? No, not from Mexico, Braden. He crashed his car on the pavement. Dummy, that's a spaceship. We found the location. Patience, sneak in and take him. Retrieve the spaceship with no hesitations. Don't let the locals know that we surveyed them. Force them with forces, they make altercations. Good gracious, how did they make this? Go get my tool set in some beer cases. Ordnance our nations, made by aliens. Like Toyota. Dummy, that's Asian. Got him. What the heck are you saying? Those are government agents. Knock it off, he's a harmless Asian. We're preventing invasion. Woo, stop illegal immigration. Oh, right, he's here for the taking. Stand back, we're protecting the nation.
Good evening, everybody. Just figured I'd test the specs here of my streams to see if this is like the first of my horror streams. There, fixed the audio a little better now. So, yeah, I was just testing the share option, and I don't know if it's my internet or the StreamYard, or the Stream Lab, I should say. But, yeah, it's still showing at 2 frames a second, which is annoying the piss out of me. So I'm going to have to do like a little test stream at some point. It won't affect, well, it might affect today's stream, but we'll figure it out. We'll see how this goes. But my regulars are here, guy in his room. Welcome to the first of what I will call the Unitah Monster Spook Review. Because Monster Monday sounds on the nose, I thought, like, you know what? Let me give it a name that would just be, I don't know, something that people will talk about, something that's like just out there. And on brand. This is on brand. So it's my racist enemy, guy in his room with the emojis. My good friend, Massive Panda, is here to offset the abusers like guy in his room and Shifter. So it's good to have such positivity. Here's JAV Styler. Fascist Kirk reminding me that I had a late stream. I did say I was. I did say I was going to start at 7:45. I did say that. So better late than never. At least it's not incredibly late. Then again, if you count every as a year, I am incredibly late. So I am on brand, I guess, for that. Bear says, Eliza, how's it going? Welcome, Bear. Kaz says, is the one questioning the title. Spook's review. What happened to Monster Monday? We aren't reviewing the CIA or what was the other part of it? Did I just miss up the other part of the review? I'll get to in a second. But yeah, I was born in 78, if you must know, 1978, the year of Superman, the motion picture. That was the year that I was born. So, and KSS, of course, fixes the error. So, yep. JV started singing Do West Skinny Wingham and Jemima. There, I said it for you. Yes, please like and subscribe. I will not say the last word because that's racist. I will not say it. I will not say it. No, it doesn't call me that, KSS. It does not call me that. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Repent. It does not say that at all. Henry Bemis is in the chat. What's good, Henry? Welcome. KSS is still hung up on the Monster Money thing on the nose. So let's change to something retarded and overly complicated to remember. Good job, you jerk. But first of all, the name calling is not necessary, number one. And number two, the fact that now we have a controversy about the title proves that I did the right thing. Because now people are going to talk about the title. And I will be the top streamer on Mondays. Mazapan, reminding you, bringing the positivity. Yes, we're going to bring lots of it. Lots and lots of it. It came from a D-word pond from outer space. Aliens Matt. That's not cool. That's not right. Tim also says, I thought he was reviewing. Oh. No, absolutely not, Tim. That'll be the other stream. But thank you for remembering. Thank you for. Oh, by the way. So let's see here. How do I do this? So this was suggested by you, the chat, to do these streams. So today is the inaugural stream of this horror brand, you could say. And I started. Well, I didn't start it, but I had a Discord that I was inactive, so I reactivated it. And for those of you who are my regulars, if you're not in my Discord, there's the link in the chat right there. And what we're going to do is at some point, we're going to start watch parties for the movies that I'll be doing streams on. And you guys can be part of it. So there's a Discord to join. I will be using that Discord to upload material for this, as well as my Indie Comic Outlier streams. And it's a safe space away from the hatred and the division that has hurt our little Communitah. I must not want fans or viewers. Why do you say these things, guy? Why do you say these things? You think that I'm not hearing this? That I see this? No, don't dunk on me. This is a safe space. We're doing a safe space thing, so don't dunk on me. It's not cool. It's not cool because I bring lots of positivity, as was stated before. Lots of positivity, like this one right here, like this image, this mysterious image. Well, it was mysterious, but thanks to that shitty movie Prometheus, it's no longer mysterious. But back in 1979, this image alone, the legendary space jockey image, was a mysterious image because it didn't give us a clear answer. Only the assumption that something was born from this creature. Whatever this creature was, whatever this person, this being on this chair was, it gave way to something monstrous and mysterious and horrific and iconic. By the way, this image of the space jockey, this is from the movie Alien, which is the subject of our stream today. Alien from 1979. I was born a year before that. So please, if you're going to dox my birth year, get it right. I hate fake doxes. Just dox me with my real dox. I have nothing to hide. 1979. The 1970s was a great decade for horror and sci-fi movies. It was like a next level decade. People talk about the 80s, and the 80s was innovative. The 80s was experimental, imaginative. Great music, great movies, great TV shows. Fascist Car talking about his safe space, which was Facebook. We will never speak of it. Well, I already did. So I guess it makes everything I was going to say null and void. KSS is saying, I have to download Discord on my phone. Can I just call you instead? No. Don't. Never speak of that again. Any updates to Warrior with B Citizen? Yes. So those of you that backed it, you should have received the PDF. If you have not received the PDF, let me know. So I mailed it out. But if you did not get the PDF, please let me know, and I will send it to your email tonight. I am currently updating the manga version, so the manga version needs to get updated. I'm trying to get that done by the end of this month or by the first week of April, because the plan then is to go and have the book sent to my printers so I can start getting them printed. So I really want to push for April to get everything printed, or most of everything printed, and that way, when May comes, I will have all the books I need for the convention circuit. So that is the plan. That is the update. I'll send a formal update on my platforms, but since you asked, what about Clock People? Clock People is on indefinite hold, so I will revisit it when the time is right. But for now, it's on indefinite hold. Am I going to discuss Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Sonashusek? Dan O'Bannon was a great writer. So I'm gonna try to talk about the movie per se itself, and really go more into like H.R. Giger himself, because he was a big factor in this movie. And some people still don't know this, but the alien design was started by H.R. Giger without the movie being a thing. It was an original image that he created in one of his art books, and I think it was which was the book he created for the alien design, but it wasn't created for the movie because the idea of the movie didn't happen until later. And let's see the name of the book that he created. As I look it up, and he worked on the movie. He did work on the movie. He helped with the designs of the face huggers, and refined the designs of the creature. But the main design initially happened. I think it was Necronomicon where he I remember like I haven't really looked into this a lot when I was back a few years ago, when I was really like just doing some deep diving on the Alien franchise. And speaking of the franchise, like when I think of the Alien franchise, I think of Alien and Aliens, the first and second movies. Alien 3, I don't consider, well, I can't say I don't consider it canon, because whether we like it or not, it is canon, but I've only watched it once, and I intend to keep it that way. I'm just I hated Alien 3. I hate what it did to the core of Aliens. So I don't consider Alien 3 when I discuss or when I have conversations about the Alien saga. Because to me, the saga should have ended at the second movie. Because the story was about, and I'm jumping ahead, I'm jumping all over the place, but the story is about Ripley and her growth. And we'll discuss the character of Ripley in a little bit, but the Alien and Aliens movies, those two movies were very feminine. And people, when we talk about feminine, it's not to be confused with feminist. There's a difference. Feminist is anti-male, it's misandrous, it's abominable, it's not attractive. Whereas feminine is and it's weird to say with this, but it's attractive. And yeah, the design was from Necronomicon 4. That was the book that H.R. Giger did the artwork for, and he designed that alien. And let me get the alien design for you. This is the design that he did for that book, and I'll read the chat in a second. Let me see. Go to materials here. Yeah, I started a channel in my Discord for the materials for streams. Let me see. I have not shared screen, so let me share my screen. Guy in the H. Giger was a madman. Yeah, he wasn't, and you can see that picture. Yeah, he was a madman. Let me get rid of the overlay so you guys can see it. Here we go. Okay, so there it is. So there is the original design for the Necronomicon 4 that was drawn by H.R. Giger, and this design was the inspiration for the Xenomorph in Alien. So the Xenomorph wasn't created for the movie. It was created as a separate art piece by Giger, and then O'Bannon went ahead with the story for Aliens or Alien, and then Giger became a part of that. And yeah, so Dan O'Bannon was the one of the screenwriters for Alien, and he also wrote the screenplay for and I think he directed it too, Return of the Living Dead. And that's probably another movie we'll discuss at some point, but Return of the Living Dead, which was in some ways, it was, I guess you could say, legally a sequel to Night of the Living Dead because of the Living Dead name, even though canonically the Living Dead movies happened after Night of the Living Dead. It continued with Day of the Dead, well, Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. And then Italy, they included Fuji Zombie as part of that canon. But yeah, Return of the Living Dead was an in-name only sequel to Night of the Living Dead because Dan O'Bannon had the rights to the Living Dead name, and who was it? Was George Romero couldn't use the Living Dead name for his movie, so he had to take the living part of it and just stick with Dead. So yeah, I just read that part. Giger was definitely a madman. Yeah. Seal's also part of the heavy metal movie too. Yeah. Dan O'Bannon has a very extensive resume, for sure. The greatest horror comedy of all time? I don't know. That's Return of the Living Dead was genius in its own way, but I don't know if I would say it's the greatest horror comedy. I think it surprisingly that movie pulled back on both the gore and the comedy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was gory, but not as gory as I had once remembered. When I saw it as a kid, I remember being grossed out by it, but then when I saw it in my older years, I'm like, oh, that kind of tame in some parts. And it's not a tame movie by any stretch of the imagination. Not tame, but when you see movies like Brain Dead, Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, or movies like Cemetery Man, Demoni, like those movies. Return of the Living Dead is kind of tame compared to those movies, but don't get me wrong, it isn't tame on its own. It's absolutely not. It is a good movie, absolutely good. It's a cult classic. But when I think of like zombie films or horror comedies, I wouldn't put it in my top 5. It's a top 10 cult movie, but I wouldn't put it in a top 5 horror comedy. Helmet says the greatest horror comedy is Fright Night. It's a great Fright Night's a great horror film. It's to me one of the top 5 best vampire films. I would put that with Nosferatu, The Lost Boys, Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. I put that in the top 5. Yeah, I don't know if I would call it the greatest horror comedy. I mean, it's debatable. Listen, I don't think there's a definitive greatest horror comedy. I think it's debatable. Some good nominees. I would put Ghostbusters as a horror comedy because that movie, the horror aspects of that movie was horrific, but to me the comedy in that movie was top notch. So Henry Beeman says gore does not equal great. That is 100% true, and a good example of that is Serbian film. Serbian film was definitely a gory film, and I don't think anybody will call that a great film at all. So yes, heck, even like movies, some of Gucci's movies, like The House by the Cemetery, was pretty gory, and I wouldn't consider that a great movie. A cult movie, yes, but not a great movie, especially because of its writing. Pretty. Oh yeah, Evil Dead, exactly. That's another great example of a horror comedy. Great horror comedy, Evil Dead. Definitely Evil Dead. For sure, absolutely. One of the greatest horror trilogies, from Evil Dead to Darkness. Yes, I think. Wait, hold on. My sax. Why did I highlight that? Why are you putting that here in the stream about horror movies? My stuff is great, KSS. You don't get to comment on it. How dare you? Fashion Kirk says, greatest horror comedy I ever saw was The Last Jedi. No, that was a tragedy. That was a tragedy. That movie. Tragedy that even got made. Never should have got made. James Rose says, Beetlejuice is a good horror comedy. Yeah, I think the horror aspects of that movie are kind of silly, but yeah, I mean, you could actually the sequel, Beetlejuice was a little darker. I don't know if you guys ever saw the sequel to the Beetlejuice movie, Beetlejuice. it was a darker movie than the first movie, so I would say that was probably more horrific than the first movie. Probably a good conversation to have. So Gore does not equal great as KSS. See Al Gore and Tipper. Yeah, that's true. Yes, yes. All of the Evil Deads win. I can argue with that. I love the Evil Dead. I love the trilogy. It's a great trilogy. So, you know, all great movies. Return of the Living Dead is still better. Okay, there you go. Let's see. My sex life is not a horror comedy. How dare you, KSS? You know what? I'm taking your wrench away. I'm taking your wrench away. Actually, you know what? Since you brought up sex, okay, how about this? Let me segue back into the conversation. Since you bring up sex, KSS, at my expense, a lot of great people that study, a lot of people that study the Alien movies, especially the first one. There is a great undertone of sex in this movie, in the Alien movie, because of what the theme is about. You know, there's a it's a very sexual movie. And I know I'm jumping ahead on that, but I want to just finish my conversation about the space jockey, because this image alone inspired lots of fan fiction. It inspired so much mystery with the movie. And again, I mentioned that this was one of H.R. Giger's designs. I think this right here. Here is H.R. Giger with the alien prop for the movie back in 1979. Yeah, he was very hands-on with the production. It wasn't just that one drawing. He was very hands-on. And Alien, for all intents and purposes, was his baby. Just like Ridley Scott was a great figurehead for the movie. Dan O'Bannon. Well, H.R. Giger was every bit as important in the iconography of the movie and the design and the legacy of the creature. And he designed the space jockey. And for decades, the space jockey was mysterious enough to just keep it added to the allure of the movie. It added to such an allure. And sometimes, and what we've learned with Prometheus, speaking of tragedies, what we learned with Prometheus was that not all things have to be explained. Not all things have to be explained, because there was so much aura and so much profundity with the space jockey. Like, your imagination was limitless. It was endless. So when it came time for Ridley Scott to give an explanation about the space jockey, it just ruined it, because the explanation was not what we thought it would be, and it actually demeaned the icon of the space jockey. But I'm just bringing this up to show you, to prove a point that not all things in film or entertainment, in fiction, has to be explained. A little mystery is good. A little unsolved mystery in a story or in a saga is fine. It is a new thing to have to explain everything. Not everything has to be explained. Bear says when they filmed Alien, the cast never saw what it looked like to add to their reactions. Oh yeah, there was a great thing when it came to like their reaction, and you saw how like genuine it was. Actually, Nancy Cartwright, in the scene where John Hurt's character, the alien bursts out of his chest. In that scene, when you see her face get splattered with blood, her reaction was genuine. She did not expect that. So you got a genuine reaction out of Nancy Cartwright's character when she got the blood splattered on her face. And those things are missing in today's films. Is a little impromptu, or a little, I guess you could say, off the script annex that produces genuine reaction, a genuine emotion in an actor, and it just captures it on film, and it just makes for iconographic for iconic. It makes for iconic memories. Kind of like when Han Solo said, "I know," when Leia says to him, "I love you," and he says, "I know." It was improvised, and it was. Oh wait, you love this guy? Why? Oh, that explains so much. That explains so much. I don't know what to say, guy, but I hated Prometheus. Like I have rarely do I go to a movie theater and come out hating the movie. Prometheus has that distinction of being one of those rare movies that I come out hating after I leave the theater. It was such an abomination to the Alien saga because it tried to be profound and it wasn't. It tried to answer questions and it did a poor job of it. And I said to myself, really, Scott probably should not have came back in the director's chair because I think he totally just did not understand the very thing he created. He did not understand at all. Prometheus' screenplay was a tragedy. Damon Lindelof is awful screenplay. I agree. Prometheus sucked. I'm sorry, it was terrible. You can't. You're not going to convince me of anything otherwise. It was a bad book. Bad book. It was a bad movie. Alien: The Final Metamorphosis says in the books the space jockeys were called something different, and they float a foot off the ground when they walked. Yeah, I forgot what they had a different name. I don't know what they were called, but yeah, you're right. The space jockey name was just something that happened over the years. Tim Olsen says, I do not feel it was ruined. Well, for me, I can still watch Alien and appreciate it. So I don't let the effects of Prometheus ruin it, but for a lot of people it was ruined because now there's no mystery. Now it's just well, there was an explanation and it wasn't good. So I triggered guy in his room. He disagrees. I'm sorry you disagree, but I don't like it, and neither did Massive Panda. Wasn't a big. I mean, look, Prometheus has its fans. Don't get me wrong; it does have its fans. It has its people that defend it. I'm just not one of them. Fashion Cook, however, is more merciful. He could forgive Prometheus, but the next movie I will not name killed my soul. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any of the movies that's Covenant that he's talking about. I haven't seen any of those movies afterwards, and I won't. I'm just not going to waste my time. Not going to waste my time. Kay says, explain to Lady Shadowband that she wasn't supposed to read the comment about my sex life. How dare you, Kay says. How dare you do that? With Lady Shadowman in the chat. Tim Moulton says, the explanation of it for me actually expanded the universe they're in. I mean, that is an objective statement. It did expand the universe. The question is, did it expand it perfectly? Did it expand it well? I contend it did not. I contend it expanded into a mess, unanswered questions, and the ruinization of a mysterious thing in this universe. Like I said, some things just don't need to be explained. I mean, when they explained it, Alien was not a new film. Wait, when they explained it, Alien was not a new film. I feel that eventually things will be explained. I mean, again, they left enough of it to be a mystery, and that mystery is what gave the film an added layer of spookiness and eeriness. And I'm going to contend the less you know about, you don't have to know everything about anything. It's good to have a little mystery. Another example was the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. Did we need to see that thing coming out of the pit? Mystery is sometimes good in storytelling. Alien is such a mismanaged franchise; it could be so much greater. I think it didn't need to go beyond Aliens. It could have went if you were going to do a third movie. The worst thing they did was they killed off Corporal Hicks and Newt, because that was Ripley's. And I'm jumping ahead, and I'll get actually I'll say that for the second part of the stream. But let me just go back to the original point, which is Alien was a sexual movie. The images evoked a sexuality of some kind, and certain themes of the movie evoke sex. For example, the facehuggers evoke rape. And I'm not monetized, so I can say that word, but it evokes rape. You know, every time the creature enters the victim and pours the egg down the throat, it's a form of rape. And then there's a scene where the android Ash tries to assault Ripley by forcing a rolled up magazine down her throat. Again, another example of implied rape in the movie. Which and I'll get to the subversion. Well, the subversion part is the main characters, right? We have Tom Skerritt as Dallas, and the movie set him up as the guy, as the lead. But then and there's gonna be spoilers, so don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Another image of the space jockey. Such a great image, that space jockey. Some things just did not need to be explained. I'm going to contend that was one of the biggest failings of Prometheus, was explaining who the space jockeys, who became known as the engineers. So that became their official name, was the engineers. Stupid name, I know. But Tom Skerritt as Dallas was billed as the film's lead, and he was the guy that the crew was behind. But then the movie takes a subversive turn, submersive turn, and he ends up disappearing. Bear says none of the actors knew about that scene last night. I'm pretty sure they shit themselves. Oh yeah, you talk about the John Hurt scene. Oh yeah, it was a great scene because of that, because they had the natural reaction. So wonderful scene. But Tom Skerritt's Dallas was built as the movie's lead, the character lead, because if you watch it, Ripley was a side character along with the other characters. She was significant, but she wasn't built as the lead until Skerritt's disappearance, until Dallas is taken away from the story. And by the way, I'm not going to refer to the director's cut, because number one, it's already been explained. The director's cut is not canonical with the stuff in Aliens. For example, when Dallas is found in the director's cut, when Ripley finds him, he's already been impregnated, right? And you see the alien eggs. So there's like alien eggs, and aliens show that the eggs come from a queen. The queen lays the eggs, and from the eggs hatches the facehuggers. But in the alien director's cut, it's the eggs are laid, no queen, and it happens in the scene where Ripley finds Dallas already infected. So in the theatrical version, that scene is removed, so you never see what actually happens to Dallas. And I saw that shot, and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad it wasn't in the final movie, because it does. Number one, again, mystery. What happened to Dallas? We don't know. We know that the alien got him, but we don't know. We just know that he's gone. So a little mystery adds to the fear of the whole story. And after Dallas's disappearance, Ripley then becomes the leader, and her evolution to that role is pretty natural. It's not done like it is today, where today, like if you have a female character who's in the lead, she has to be this Mary Sue who's obnoxious and detestable and unlikable. No, Ripley is treated as a very relatable character, a human being, still feminine, but definitely not weak by any stretch of the imagination. Her, along with Sarah Connor, are probably two of the most misunderstood female leads in movies, because people see them, they see that they're women, and they think, oh yeah, strong, independent, don't need no man. Let's make her obnoxious. Let's make her Mary Sue, unlikable. No, these characters were far from that. They were very feminine, but they were strong, but still acquiescing to their male counterparts. And we see in Aliens, Ripley acquiesces to Corporal Hicks, adopting him as some kind of pseudo husband. And then, of course, she adopts Newt as her adopted daughter. But Ripley herself, a yeoman's character, useful, but put in a position she didn't ask to be in. And that adds to the film's horror. That adds to the film's excitement, because she's not qualified to take on this mysterious creature, this illegal immigrant that's on their ship. We have Einbeck from the Fact Circle. He says, I didn't watch the prequels, and I have no intention of changing that. Yes, don't change it. Whatever you do, don't change it. Those movies you don't have to watch, and they don't really add to anything. So, the human researchers wanted to send the secrets of mortality from the engineers, but the engineer had an alien in him when he was awakened. Yes, I think it was I find the discussion weird, considering I hate J.J. Abrams for his mystery box. No, okay, so so the whole mystery box with J.J. Abrams, it works one time, but it doesn't work every time. Okay, okay. I don't think the mystery box thing applies in the case of Alien because the movie is itself a mystery. When they did the trailers for the movie, they didn't show the monster. They just showed the egg. They have the narration and the famous line, "In space, no one can hear you scream." So there's a sense of mystery that enough of it is solved, but you still have some left over that isn't solved that adds more to the horror and to the the legacy, the inspiration of the story and the character itself. Giger's art is hypersexualized. Oh yeah, again, and this was intentional because the story, Alien and Aliens, is a feminine movie, not feminist. It's feminine. First movie deals with sexual themes, and I talked about like the implied rape that it was showing in the movie with Ash, and then also with the face huggers. And then the sequel, Aliens, continues the feminine story with Ripley's motherhood being the core of it. And by the way, if you ever get the special edition of Aliens, I recommend the special edition because it has some important scenes with Ripley finding out about her daughter. And imagine you being a parent, you're in space, and you're out in space for like 200, like, I don't know how many years they're out. I think 70 plus years they're in space. And then you come back and you find out that your daughter is older than you, like almost 100 years old. Like she's an elderly woman. Ripley comes back young as can be and finding out that her daughter is elderly. And this is something that Christopher Nolan played with the movie Interstellar. The idea of like you come back in time, you're out away, you're away in space or in Interstellar's case, like in a different dimension in time and space, and you come back and your child is older than you, near their deathbed. It's profound. So Alien was tentacle porn. So in a way, kinda like they're like the face huggers, and there's one shot in the movie where when the alien is facing down Nancy Cartwright's character, and you see the alien's tail kind of approaching her. There was implication there. There was an implication there. I'm so glad you're mad, guy in Israel. I'm so glad. That makes me happy. That makes me complete. That makes me very complete. Now, what is interesting, says Timos, is the beat between the engineers and the Yautja. So that's extra canonical stuff. So, man, yeah, Alien versus Predator. That's we shall not have that conversation. As much as we wished it could have been good, but I am. What do you mean? I barely not. I always acknowledge the chat. I always acknowledge the chat. How do you say this? When I read one of your comments before, Ellie, I read one of your comments before. You cannot say I don't acknowledge the chat. Bear says, we'll never watch the director's cut. Love the OG release. Same with Aliens. The editors did an incredible job. So yeah, so I recommend sticking with the theatrical version of Alien, but the special edition of Aliens is good. It is actually, it does improve upon the story a lot. So it really serves as a sequel, a direct sequel to Alien. Both movies back to back are great to watch. However, if you guys do have the original copies, keep them, because I'm hearing that with Aliens, the new releases that are coming out on the 4K Blu-ray, they were tampered with AI. And there's actually this is all James Cameron too. Like he did this with his Terminator and True Lies. He passed those movies through AI filters to get rid of the film grain, and in doing so, created some imagery that's like very weird. So I will not be getting the 4Ks of Aliens. I have my Blu-ray of Aliens, and I'm glad because it's part of the. Actually, let me get it. It's part of the Alien quadrilogy set. Here it is. Got it right here. Clout, my clout. Hopefully, my camera will work on this. Let's see. Let's take a look here. So there it is. Oh, wait, my phone is dying. Okay. So this is my Alien quadrilogy Blu-ray, and this has the special edition of Aliens. If you can find this, I recommend getting this. This has the theatrical version of Alien, and it's got this special. Well, it has a theatrical also of Aliens, but it also has the special edition. And I recommend watching the special edition of Aliens. I have yet to see Alien 3. I have no intention to. And Alien Resurrection, we just should not speak of it. But yeah, if you can find this set, this is the set I recommend getting. The Alien quadrilogy set. It's called the Alien Anthology, actually. The Blu-ray set. I recommend this for sure. So that's the set I recommend getting if you have money to spend. Let me go down to the chat quickly. Dan O'Bannon originally didn't give any of the characters first names. He said you can make whoever you want female or not. So a lot of improvising, a lot of organic formation of this movie. So Fast Chris says that is fair regarding the whole mystery box versus keeping it mystery. There was a balance between mystery, mystery co cock, mystery cock. Wait, what did you just make me read? Why can't I read normal comments by you people? Why can't you just be normal like me? Be normal like me. Wait, Nolan's a hack. Oof, that's a strong statement. Not a fan. I see. I like Nolan. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I haven't seen that movie yet, so I don't know. A lot of people say it's good. I've had some say that it wasn't, so I don't know. But I will say this though with Christopher Nolan, I do have my concerns about some of his choices with Odyssey. I have some concerns, but I'll leave it at that for now. The game Alien Isolation to me was as good as the first Alien. It's funny you mentioned that because I remember the Sega video game Alien Syndrome. You guys remember Alien Syndrome? That was one of the first games I played on my Sega Master System back when I got it I think it was 1986. 1986. Let me see. That and it's also available, by the way, on. You can see it on YouTube. Alien Syndrome. Let me see if I can find it, just to show a few seconds of it. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Is this it? Yeah, I'm hoping. It's a lot of videos on YouTube called Alien Syndrome, but there it is. Here we go. So yeah, so Alien Syndrome, which was clearly inspired by Alien or Aliens. Some of the design, yeah. See, like what looks like xenomorphs. Obviously, xenomorphs because of the licensing, but they look almost like xenomorphs, and that's because they were inspired by xenomorphs. So I don't want to show too much of it because I don't know if there's a copyright thing with Sega. There shouldn't be, but you never know. You never know. It's just the way things are with these people. So I don't want to take my chance on it. So let's see. Go back to it. Go back to the imagery here. Let me see. Where was it? Where's my stuff? Bunch of tabs open. Oh, here we go. Okay. So yeah, so this was the scene here. This is the facehugger scene where John Hurt's character is killed by the bursting xenomorph that starts off as a baby. The scene was parodied, by the way, in Spaceballs. Great movie. Spaceballs is an excellent comedy movie. And yeah, this scene was the one that shocked a lot of the actors on the set because they weren't prepared for it. Much to our delight. Much to our delight. They were not prepared for it. So, okay, Kansas says Ripley was in space for 57 years. Her daughter was 11 when she left. Dude, that old lady was 68, but she didn't look a day over 89. Oh, look who's here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you missed the Carol, but guess what? I'm not starting over. Too late. Too late. I'm not starting over. Mazapan, I need to rewatch Interstellar. It really bugged me that the movie was about 85 hours long, but I need to give it another chance. Maybe I'll take pre-workout before I watch it to stay awake for it. I will say this, like for me, Interstellar was a one-time watch because I thought it was very, very cerebral. It was sublime and deep in many aspects of it, but I thought it dragged in some spots. So it could have been shortened, but it kept me glued to my seat. So I have not ignored. You know what? You're a racist guy in this room. You're a racist because if I was a white, you wouldn't be saying this about me. You'd be egging me on. You'd be encouraging me to carry on forward. But no, we can't have the colors with their stream and not have them acknowledge me. Notice me, senpai. Notice me. This guy in my Discord is worse in my Discord than he's in my DM group. If that's possible. If that's possible. The helmet. Do not encourage that. Don't encourage that, helmet. Don't you dare. Don't you dare encourage that. My lovely lady Shadow Man, I would hope he doesn't find it horrific or comedic either. Are you not talking about... Will you stop encouraging her, KSS? What's wrong with you? Of course you would. Fascist Kirk says, Alien can stand on its own. What other sequel other than Terminator 2 can do the same? That's a good question. I can't think of any. Because you're right, Aliens does stand on its own. Why'd you know? Actually, no, there is a sequel that can't stand on its own. Evil Dead 2. Because even though Evil Dead 2 is part of the trilogy, it does retell the story of Evil Dead in its opening sequence. And if that movie never got Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2 on its own could have been a good ending to that story. Thankfully, it wasn't, but it could have been. So I would argue that you could put Evil Dead 2 in that category as well. But it's a good bit of trivia. Because there aren't that many sequels that can stand on its own. So it's a testament to how well those movies were made. So scroll down. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to miss some chats because I'm behind. Let's see here. Okay. Alien 3, the production cut, actually makes it a better movie. I mean, outside of them killing off Hicks and Newt. Yeah, to me, killing off Hicks and Newt was like that was like doing that. Totally, it's about as bad, not worse than, but it's about as bad as what Terminator Genisys did. Not Genisys, Terminator Dark Fate, where they kill off John Connor in the first sequence of the movie. And by doing that, they undid everything that Terminator Judgment Day was telling. So Alien 3, probably not as bad as Dark Fate, but both are shit for doing what they did. So I don't really watch those movies. Actually, I've never seen Dark Fate, and I never will. Because it's a shit idea. It's a shit story, shit movie. It needs to be flushed in the toilet. So Oppenheimer had some great stuff. Too long, though. At some point, I'll watch it because it's gotten some good reviews, and I do want to watch it because I am curious about that part of our history. The H-bomb. So let's see. Okay, Alien Xenomorph was also inspired by Alien. He super chatted all you wanted to know about Micah Curtis. Yes, Alien Xenomorph, who some people thought was Testify HD, but no. You gotta stop with the shower stream stuff. Stop it. I moved on. You can too. For fuck's sake, move on. No, seriously, move on. KSS says, yes, Alien Resurrection was directed by a Frenchman. I'm pretty sure he thought he was making a comedy. Yeah, it was a weird movie. Not as frustrating as Alien 3, though. Like, it's a bad movie, but not as frustrating as Alien 3. It's probably, maybe arguably a better movie, but still, it's just, it just showed it didn't need to get made. It didn't need to get made. I didn't like when Ripley was getting all empathetic with the Alien Queen. Yeah, well, that Ripley was a clone, so it wasn't even the real Ripley. It was a clone Ripley, and that's what makes it even more weirder. Because Ripley dies at the end of Alien 3, and then they clone her for Alien Resurrection, and it's like, it's supposed to be the same character, but it's not. It's not. Army of Darkness ruled also. All three Evil Dead movies ruled, and together they make one great story. Hey, I like Army of Darkness. Don't get me wrong. I like Army of Darkness. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. So, scroll down a little bit. I'm just checking. Okay. Yeah, I'm behind in the chat. Forgive me, guys. Oh, no, I'm caught up. Okay, no, I'm caught up. There we go. Yes, I am caught up. Awesome. Well, Desperado count as a second installment in a series that can't stand on its own. I love that movie. Oh, yeah, that's another good example. Yeah, Desperado is another good example. That movie by itself can't stand on its own. It's part of a trilogy, but it tells it spends about a minute telling the story of the first movie, El Mariachi. And actually, that Desperado doesn't even mention the events of El Mariachi. It's a sequel, but doesn't mention much of the events of it. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a requel. It's a remake of Mariachi, but a sequel, kind of like Evil Dead 2 was in a way. But yeah, that is a good example too. That's a good example. Oh, there are it's only Helmut. Helmut just has a fascination with me being in the shower. It's weird. Old Dirty Fatty. It's just weird. I don't know what to say. Okay, it says if Alien Resurrection wasn't made, Joss Whedon wouldn't have been pissed off and made Firefly. Is that what happened? Helmut says, I repeat, Day of the Dead was a great second movie after Dawn of the Dead. In my opinion, even better story and gore wise. You know what, Helmut? I don't disagree. I've watched Dawn of the Dead more than once. I watched Day of the Dead more than once. I find myself liking Day of the Dead better. It definitely had better special effects. It had a better story, even though the characters kind of sucked in Day of the Dead. But I just thought that story-wise and the fact that it was in the 80s, it had that 80s feel, it enhanced that movie quite a bit. So I actually placed that movie above Dawn of the Dead in terms of like Romero's zombie films. Evil Dead 2 was a remake up until the part where Ash got knocked through the woods. Yeah, that's why it's called a requel, because it retells the story of the first movie, and they couldn't use the footage from the first movie because of rights issues, so they had to reshoot it. But and they couldn't get the actors from the first movie to come back because of budget reasons, so they had to stick with one character. But it's still a sequel to the first movie for sure, canonically. So yes, as we discussed earlier, the actors had that natural reaction of John Hurt's character dying on their table. A scene that was parodied in Spaceballs, great movie by the way. And then you have the emergence of the alien and the mystery of finding this creature in space, in the spaceship, and finding the creature and getting him before the crew was wiped out. And if you actually added all the minutes that the creature was seen on film, I think it's not even 5 minutes total time. But the movie works because of the mystery aspect of it, and the setting of the spaceship adds to the tense, the terror of it all. It's a great use of location, great use of setting. When the characters are taken out one by one, and the mystery of how they're taken out. And Alien was surprisingly not gory. Outside of the chest bursting scene, there wasn't much gore in the movie. A lot of the deaths were implied, and how they died were implied. So you don't actually see any actual violence against the characters. Evil Dead 2 was fun as hell. Love the chase scenes of the cabin wolves. It's a great movie. I love all three of the Evil Dead movies. So, but again, I emphasize the mystery of the first movie. It's not an action film. It's just a what's going to happen next? What's going to happen to this character? The suspense of when Ripley has to make that final decision of blowing up the ship, thinking that she's going to kill the monster that way, and her trying to escape. It just adds a lot of pathos, a lot of tension and fear. And then when she finally escapes, ship blows up. Actually, I'm jumping ahead. Let me go back a little bit to when the discovery of Ash, the cyborg Ash, not that cyborg, the android. When they find out that one of the crew members was an android who was trying to collect the specimen, the alien specimen, because they viewed it as some kind of bioweapon. You know, it would have been great to bring it back, and Utani is the corporation that was in charge of it, and they were willing to bring back that specimen at the expense of all the human lives on board. It was one of the shocking reveals in the movie. Ash, played by the great Ian McDermott. Not Ian McDermott. What's his name? I got the wrong Ian right. Wrong. Yes, I got the wrong Ian. Wrong Ian. It wasn't Ian McDermott. I know I'm going to be be crucified for not knowing the actor's name. So, Ian Holm. There we go. Ian Holm. Okay, my brain rot. It was Ian Holm, the same actor that played Bilbo in the Lord of the Rings movies. Yes. Okay, KSS is correcting me. I'm sorry. It's Veronica Cartwright. Okay, not Nancy Cartwright. Nancy Cartwright is the voice of Bart Simpson. You're right. I'm sorry. It's Veronica Cartwright. Yes, there we go. So, see, I read the chat. And the chat corrects me when I'm wrong. Because I don't mind being wrong. Fashion Kirk is bringing up Prometheus blasphemy. The android David made the aliens mystery box over. The box was an android wife. Yeah, again, fuck Prometheus, fuck that franchise, and fuck Ridley Scott for doing that. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. So the android David, played by Michael Fassbender, is the one that creates the aliens. Yes, an android, right? So bullshit. It was a bullshit. Why will people defend that movie? Why will people defend Prometheus? I don't understand. I don't understand. You talk about a mystery box. That's a mystery box. So they find out that Ash is was android specifically meant to sacrifice the crew at the expense of collecting a specimen of the alien. That doesn't happen. They thwart his plans. They try to destroy the xenomorph. Xenomorph off them, and then Ellen is tasked with leaving the ship, blowing up the ship, hoping that she has succeeded in destroying the monster. And we think she has. But then by the way, before I continue on, the movie was shot in Braidwood Studios, which is in Britain. It's also the same studios that was the production base for Hammer Film Studios. Hammer Film, which gave us all those horror movies from, Christopher Lee as Dracula, Peter Cushing, and also the great Kung Fu collab with Shaw Brothers, The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. So, you hear my notifications? Well, good, because I'm busy. I'm important. I want you to hear my notifications, guy in his room. I want you to hear it. I'm glad you hear it. I mean something. I matter. You better hear it. Keep hearing it. Good. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it. Good. I'm important. I'm not a failure. I mean something. I'm a leader. I'm a content. I am a respected comic book creator. I have meaning. I have importance. You better respect me, guys, because I have influence. I can get KSS after you. I will have him brigade you. You hear me? You hear me, guys in this room? I'll have KSS brigade you. It'll be over for you. I wish Prometheus was its own series of films that just happened to be set in the same universe as Aliens, rather than a prequel with the space jockey. They sold this bullshit. I don't know if you remember, KSS, but they sold you on this bullshit that Prometheus wasn't a prequel. It's a film set in the same universe with the same DNA. That's what they said. They said Prometheus was a film that had alien DNA, but not a prequel. And that turned out to be bullshit because it was a prequel, and a shitty one at that. All those night letters in the background. Well, they didn't do it in Spanish, so therefore I can't read it. So it has to be bilingual. Otherwise, I don't count it as canon. Whisper Network is real, folks. Testify new. Yes, he foretold all this nonsense for sure. A leader? What are you leading? I'm leading the chat, Bear. I'm reading y'all's people's words, okay? I'm validating your existence by reading your words. And by validating your points, I have become stronger and more of a leader than you will ever know because I'm important. I have significance. Especially when we're talking about aliens. I don't remember Prometheus being marketed as an alien movie. Was it? It was marketed as a movie with alien DNA. That's what they said. They said to that effect. It wasn't a prequel, they said. It was set in the universe and had the DNA of Alien. It was their bullshit way of saying it's a prequel, but we're going to rewrite the canon. That's what it was. Which is why it was stupid. And why a lot of us ended up hating it. So, KSS, I think Prometheus was supposed to be its own thing, but Damon Lindelof was hired and he's AIDS. Yeah. Oh, yes. I remember that name. Damon Lindelof. Oh, horrible writer. Horrible writer. Fascist Kirk says, we validate your existence by watching your streams and liking it. And you do a great job, Fascist Kirk. You do an excellent job. By the way, good job on the farms, by the way. They need to be told once and for all that slob-knobbing Richard C. Meyer is just boring as hell. There's this. I think Helmet is right about you. About what? The shower streams? Don't think about my nude body. Do not think about my nude body. Okay. You know what? This. No. These are men talking. I don't want them thinking about my nude body. Here, let me redirect the conversation. There. All right. There. Ellen Ripley in the famous scene that a lot of people have issues with today because modern day fifis, but back then it wasn't an issue. There. So there. Get your mind off my shower streams and let's look at Ellen Ripley at the final scene when she was getting ready to relax and rest. Elasma is a leader in the sense of the Marvel leader. Oh, the Marvel character leader. Same elbow with his figure. Oh, F you, Helmet. F you. How about that? How does it retcon if it's its own thing? Because it's tied to the Alien franchise. It's tied to it. So it tries to connect it. That's why. It was trying to connect to the first movie. It was trying to, first of all, by using the space jockeys, now retconned as engineers, and adding too much of an origin to them that we didn't need to see. Well, I say we didn't need to see, but if it was written in any way that was good, then we could argue that it was written to see. See, I'm offsetting it there. I'm offsetting it. See? The iconic image of Ellen Ripley in her tank top and underwear, which Ridley Scott today said he's sorry for. But it's iconic. Heck, in Amazon, you can buy a poster, a 24 by 36 poster of it. That's how iconic it is. And you got fan art. I found this on Twitter, but you got fan art of this. And there's even people doing 3D models of it. Yeah, you can actually get 3D models of Ellen Ripley in her underwear if you wanted to do your own 3/4 inch figure of it. Yes, this is a thing. This is an actual thing. Let me enlarge it so you guys can see it better. But allegedly, when they shot the scene, she wasn't shaven and some of the hair was popping out and she didn't want to shave it. So they had to. Right. So Sigourney Weaver didn't want to shave it. So they had to manually alter it in post-production so it wouldn't show up on film. Today they would do it by computer, but back then, they did it manually. So, but yeah. So the image of her in her tank top and white underwear is every bit as iconic as the xenomorph itself, and it goes back to the sexualization of the movie, the feminine aspects of the movie. It goes all the way back to that. As she fights the creature, she sees the monster, and then she goes into her astronaut suit because she realizes, you know what, it's probably not over yet. And then she goes on and ejects the creature. She ejects the monster from hence it came forth, and then she has what we thought at the time was a happily ever after, which it wasn't, because she came back to Earth older, not older, but she came back to Earth with her life having passed her by, and that sets its stage for the sequel, Aliens, which some people argue, and it's a very not debatable. I think it's a very no, it is debatable because it is a worthy conversation. Was Aliens better than Alien? And that's the question that a lot of people ask, because as time goes on, Aliens tends to have a life of its own, because in its own way, it told a very excellent story. But Alien by its own has enough of a iconography that just lends to so much conversation, so much to discuss, so much layers in the story that's there. There is so much there that people just they like talking about it, and they like having these conversations about it because there is purpose behind it. when you talk about the lore of the actors and the suit of the monster. So, Goddard says, fun fact: she had brown stains in her underwear in filming. They had to use CGI to remove them. Oh, okay, well, that's a terrible model. But it looks like diaper. Yeah, that A for effort. I don't know. Her booty is flat. Yeah, she has a flat butt, but you know what? It's natural. I'll take a natural flat butt over those what do you call it? Over those BBLs. Yes, but a natural big booty wins out. Natural big booty is always the way to go, but natural is better than fabricated every time. Aliens is as flawless of a movie as you get, Elias Mantis Bear. Yeah, there wasn't much I would change about it. Actually, there was nothing about it I'd change about it. So, I wouldn't disagree with that. It's got enough in the story that keeps you satisfied from beginning to end. So I would definitely, and again, I stress, check out the special edition of Aliens. It really adds a lot to the story of Ellen Ripley, and it just gives more dimension to her relationship with Newt. So, Ellie, I must confess, many Coombs were had with Zagoni in her panties, and I think a lot of men would say the same thing. It's just it's a thing. Like it's iconic, but it's natural. You know, it was done to show her in the most natural raw state when she fought this monster, and also to show, Sigourney Weaver, you know, being sexy because she's a female character, and sex sells. But Ridley Scott today, he's apologetic about it now. He's like, he wishes he didn't do it because he felt like he exploited her, even though she was willing to do it. So it wasn't like it was forced, but he felt like it was exploitational, and he wouldn't do it today. I disagree. I'm glad he did do it because let's be honest, like as you stated before, I mean, Alien, these movies are masculine in their targeted marketing. Even though the movie itself is pretty feminine, the idea of a monster killing people is still a masculine magnet. So, and then of course, the shot that people seem to have an issue with her, whatever you want to call her, quote unquote flat butt, which I don't. I mean, again, doesn't bother me. But here's a shot right here, and this guy in Reddit, he shows you where the xenomorph was in relation to the actual shot. So nobody, this is genius because nobody saw the xenomorph because they're too busy looking at her backside. So yeah, that is pretty genius. So I think that was another reason why Ridley Scott did it, was because it was a way to distract from finding the actual monster in the shot. So Mass Pandas, I think the Alien versus Aliens argument boils down to whether you prefer a more suspense-based movie or an action-based movie. I prefer the first one slightly more, but both are awesome. That is my take too. I think as a younger person, I enjoyed Aliens over Alien, but as I get older, I appreciate Aliens so much more that I'm finding it almost on par with Aliens in my preference. Fun fact: the director's cut of Alien has a sex scene between the alien and the android Rock. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that in the original story, they were gonna do a scene where they were gonna have Ripley and Dallas having sex, and the explanation was that it wasn't that they were romantic; it was the fact that being out in space for all those years, you're gonna have your urges. So they had the crew had an agreement that when they get to that point, that they would take care of each other sexually, so that there was no frustration and what have you. So that was talked about. Andrew Curry says, I've been listening, just caught up. Welcome, Andrew Curry. Glad you're here. As we have a conversation about Alien. So I've been moving on from guidance room. I've been moving on from that. You and Helm would have selective hearing. Both of yous. Both of you have selective hearing. Yeah, keep it up, guidance room. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm not phased at all by your kind. I'm a soldier, a warrior. A warrior. I didn't realize this movie was about grape and not shaving. This is not me interpreting it. This is what they've discussed. They've talked about this, like the concept of Ash shoving the magazine down or trying to shove the magazine down Ripley's throat was an implied metaphor for rape. The movie is sexual. That has been discussed by many people who studied it. It is a very sexual movie, not explicit, not pornographic, not even it was an important subtext because of the lead character and the vulnerability of said character. So catching up with the chat, making sure I'm caught up. Yep. But yeah, so the shot of Ripley in her underwear, yes, that was something that a lot of us liked watching when we were older. I mean, when we were younger. So no shade there. No shade there if you liked it. And again, I don't think it was exploitational. The director today thinks otherwise, but he's also the guy that directed Prometheus. So his opinion today means nothing because he directed one of the worst movies ever made, Prometheus. So there you go. I know you did, Guy. I know you did. But thank you for saying it because it led me to reveal the real fact, which was that there was a detail in the script where they were going to explore how they got their kicks. And that was discussed, actually. Now, I don't believe it was ever shot, but it was discussed and it was part of the original story. Is that why it's my favorite? No, it's not one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies is Godzilla vs. Volante, which I wanted to talk about one day. I bought the Criterion Blu-ray and I want to watch it, but no, it's not why. But I like it, but I don't fawn over it. But the movie as a whole is superior. Superior sci-fi, superior horror, superior storytelling. And by the way, if you haven't already, there's my link to Beast Citizen Road Warrior Drake. Go ahead and grab it. You want to. Michael Deach says, I thought I knew the Alien franchise lore, but no. Alas, it finally caught me up on the pubic hair backstory. Well, I'm glad that you're more learned now.
Learn from me.
Yes, I learned from Lady Shadowband too. So there you go. She's a big she likes movies too, so it's awesome. Helmut says, I can just repeat myself. The scene was Mila Manara inspired art, which is funny because the earliest commercial art of Manara is dated back to 78, 79. Okay, it says, I like Aliens better because it's action-packed so much, but not so much because it's action-packed, but because it's it or not. I worked hard. Let me go back and say it again. I like Aliens better. Not because it's action-packed so much, but because, believe it or not, Cameron actually had better, more interesting characters. Oh, yeah, and that is a great point. Because if that movie was written today with those characters, most of them would be killed off, and it would be a independent woman, need no man, martial arting the aliens to Kingdom Come. It kind of would be kind of like what Prey is today. The movie that tried to be a Predator movie, but it's just, don't get me started. Anyway, but no, your point is well taken on that one regarding Aliens. It is a well-written movie, and a lot of the side characters that you thought would have been off did not get off. It had some very iconic lines. Both movies are great. All this talk of pizza I'm having pizza tonight. Pizza sounds good. I'm hungry for pizza right now. I'm very hungry for pizza. By the way, so speaking of speaking of nothing because it doesn't segue. But I mentioned that the 70s gave us a lot of superior sci-fi horror films. You had Star Wars, of course. You had Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland. You had Dawn of the Dead. The Omen came out in that decade. Sort of The Exorcist. I think what else came out that decade? So yeah, so a lot of deep horror and sci-fi. I think sci-fi itself matured in the 70s. But as much as it matured, we also had ripoffs. That's right, Alien gave us ripoffs. Quite a few ripoffs in the Alien franchise. This one here is called Alien Contamination from 1980. So I'm going to play it Hopefully it'll show. This, I think this was Italian.
Not answering our radio
Yeah, there were a lot of Italian ripoffs.
man.
Italy was notorious
What do you think?
for
There's not a soul in sight. Really weird.
Italian knockoffs. Okay.
There's somebody in there, I'm sure of it.
Alright, so it looks like it's playing well. I have a tab over, so that's good. This is one of the early ripoffs, and Punchcast says, hey yo, welcome to Punchcast.
Do you mean they come from outer space?
Why not?
That makes sense, yeah.
How many worlds are there in the universe? Millions. Perhaps
Knowing
billions.
when she was a yummy.
Unless
Yummy,
they
a
come
hottie, yummy. Yes, Doc. Agreed.
much closer, but
What do you mean it was a natural feature?
Mars has always stimulated man's imagination. But as far as that cave was concerned, there was absolutely nothing in there.
you were telling the truth all along.
But these are photographs.
You can
But
see
there
the
hasn't been
the
another
replica of the
expedition to
alien
Mars. No.
with the egg.
These were found here.
Not so much
on
the
Earth.
characters. The characters here are
Thousands
just
of them.
disposable
Woman is still
Italian
a first-class
characters.
mind.
This
Yes,
gentleman and
absolutely.
lady would like information about our coffee. All your questions will be answered here.
Gotta love the broken English. With the Italian movies. This is like a B movie. It is a B movie. It was a cheaply made ripoff of Aliens. There was a couple that came out between 79 and 80. This is one of them, Alien Contamination. They just put this together to cash in on the craze of the alien. The success of Alien. That's fascinating. Good afternoon, Benjamin. Of course, being Italy, there's no shortage of war. Actually, no shortage of war. So that was Alien Contamination, one of the Alien knockoffs. Let me see. Let me go back here and go to the second knockoff here from 1977. 1977. Hold on. Let me pull it up here. And if you're enjoying the stream, hit the like and subscribe button. And as we get more closer to the end of the stream, I'd like to hear your suggestions on what you want for your next stream to be. But here is the Alien Factor from 1977. It's funny because this came, well, it says 77, but it came out in 79. Some books have 77. Some have 79. So there's controversy about when this movie actually came out. But this was indeed one of the cheaper Alien movies.
Oh my God!
Like I said, some books have it as it came out in 79. So even though this says 77,
Something is not quite right.
so I think there's a confusion about what year it actually came out. For example, one of my books in my library, Future Features, by John Stoney, he has it as 1979.
And I think we ought to call in the state police.
Yeah, there was a lot of great, serious, deep movies in the 70s and 80s, but there was also a lot of cheap knockoffs. Again, like this one.
Now look, you either let me handle this in my own way, or you go call in your army.
I was contamination, I think we're talking about. Yeah, Goblin did a lot of great movies. A lot of good. Okay, it says again, one of my books has it as 1979. I'm gonna believe that because there's no reason to believe it came out So that was the Alien Factor from 79. But some books have it as 79. I'm gonna go with 79 as the year it came out. Now another knockoff. This one is a more infamous knockoff from Roger Corman. Infamous because of one scene of, and this is not me. I didn't make it. I'm just telling you what happened. It had one scene of rape between the monster and the female character. I didn't make it. It was Roger Corman. Galaxy of Terror, 1981. Here's a trailer for that. I love the pre-film card for the rating.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate battle. Galaxy of Terror.
Hell has just been relocated. It orbits a burned-out star at the edge of the galaxy.
Okay, I'm going to keep the volume low. Here you go. There, now you got me.
It's been waiting 1 billion years to scare you to death.
I think Galaxy of Terror was on the video nasty.
Maze of terror.
What are the odds of us getting out of here?
What are the odds? We lose.
Stranded astronauts Edward Albert and Aaron Moran battle hordes of hideous shadow demons, encounter the razor-sharp living glass, brave the pit of doomed souls, just to discover the only way out is death.
Yes, I don't think Galaxy of Terror was ever in the video nasty list, but it was one of those movies that kind of like teetered on the order of the video nasty. Yeah, James Cameron worked on this movie. He was a protege of Roger Corman. He did a lot of later on the Corman prior to the direction of Corman. I didn't think Galaxy of... Well, it happens. It happens in the movie. I didn't direct it, but it happened.
Galaxy of Terror.
The ultimate horror in space.
Yep, definitely inspired by Alien. So those are just some of the cheap B-movie knockoffs that came in the wake of the success of Alien. And there were plenty more that came out. So, but yes, we remember Alien. And I mentioned before that it was shot at the Bray Studios, which is the production studio for Hammer films. So you have that connection. Alien has that connection with Hammer Studios, which was a legendary studio. And one of my favorite books in my library is the Overlooked Film Encyclopedia by Phil Hardy. I don't think a year ever goes by where I don't look at that book. The big sturdy book, it's out of print, of course, but I have that and the horror encyclopedia. And Hardy makes the comment. He says that the imagery of the film should be sexual rather than high tech. He makes that argument too, that there's a lot of sexual innuendos and imagery in this movie. Of course, removing the obvious of Ripley, of course, but it is splattered throughout the movie. And H.R. Giger himself was very sexually minded with his imagery. Definitely some fluidity there with the xenomorph. It looks like she's bending her knees, says Angela Curry. I remember Life Force. Yeah, Life Force was like a outer space vampire movie, but it was a cult hit over the years. It looks like she's talking, probably just the bush stuff, the bush fluff. It says Lady Shadow Band, bush fluff. Light Force had great costuming, says KSS. And it says, yeah, that too. Guidance says, yes, she is. Why do you think the D word likes it? Because I'm a heterosexual, red-blooded heterosexual male. Because that's why. Why do you hate guys? You've been at war with me all day. I've been trying to talk about a movie, and you've been at war with me all day. In my Discord and my DM group, and now here you're at war. He's at war with me. You hear this guy? He's at war with me. He really is. He's a degenerate. He's a degenerate. I can't eat grapes. I love fruits. I ate that with bananas and apples and strawberries.
That's why the 2 bags I had went bad because you loved them so much.
I didn't even know they were there.
No, they were right there in front of your face.
I didn't even know they were there.
Eat your grapes.
I'm getting spears everywhere. Everywhere. It's not right. Okay, it says Bush Fluff, and just like that, my next band got a new. Oh, there you go. There you go, guys. The new single from Bush Fluff.
It's actually really good.
You're welcome, by the way. Yes. Give me an acknowledgement in your CD, and we're good. Helmut says a great movie.
I get the credits.
Sure, give her the credit too. Why not? Why not? Helmut says a great movie in the kind of vein of Hellraiser. Wait, what are we talking about? I skipped Bear's chat. What did Bear say? Oh, The Keep. I've seen that movie only one time, but yeah, I see, guys. We have a lot of great ideas for future streams, I think. So what do you guys think? What do you want the next stream to be about? Next horror movie. I know that Wolfman was discussed a lot in the last stream I did at the Indie Comic Outlier stream. We discussed Wolfman. Do you guys want Wolfman? Or do you guys want another movie? Let's see some ideas in the chat. And if you haven't already, come and join the Discord, because what we're gonna do is, and we didn't do it for this movie, but what we're gonna do is watch parties where we can actually get in Discord in the call and watch the movie for those that haven't watched it. And that way, when we talk about it, we have a greater understanding of it, and we can actually share thoughts of the movie and make these streams pretty, full of interesting knowledge, information, perspectives. We're not doing Caligari, Dr. Caligari. Yeah. Okay. I think he's like Caligula. I'm like, why are you going to do Caligula? No, Caligari.
My mind was somewhere else.
Yes. So, The Cabin of Dr. Caligari. That's Helmut's pick. Never saw that? Yeah, it's a silent film from Germany. One of the leading trending films of German expressionism. It's beautifully shot. Waylon Todd says, hello. Hello, Waylon Todd. Welcome to this chat. Continue with the Bush theme in future streams. And just like that, we lost Michael Deacher. There you go. Michael Deacher's been lost. There you go. No, not Calamari, you racist. Caligari. Dr. Caligari. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And I'm so bad with Discord, I'll do better. I'll do especially better if KSS joins. Well, he has to download the app, he says, but it's there. And we can do watch parties. So why not? American Werewolf in London. Okay, so we have that. So there's Caligari, American Werewolf in London. Do I have to do an app for that? Discord always needs people to get into fights. Oh, man. Well, KSS, you can actually just get it on your browser. You don't even have to see. I don't have the app on my phone because it takes up too much of my phone's RAM, of my phone's memory. So I just do it on my laptop. I'm on Discord on my laptop. I don't do it on my phone. So you just go on the browser and sign into there, and there you go. You don't even gotta download the Discord executive file on your computer. Just go on your browser, type in discord.com, sign in from there, and you're good. Lady Gentleman says, I'm confused. I thought we were doing watch streams and discussions. So that's, yeah, we were going to do watch stream, and then we do the streams. No, sorry, we do the watch party and then the streams. That was my understanding. That's what people were suggesting that I start doing. Helmut says, Caligari is one of the first horror movies ever made. Great organ music. That is true. No, don't join Carol in Discord. This is my Discord. This is my safe space. My safe space. Do you hear that, Carol? Do you hear that? My safe space. So you don't get to come into the Discord and cause terror and horror. It's not allowable. You don't get to do that. But if you miss it the first time, there is the link to the Discord. it's open to anybody, but preferably to people that are regulars in my chat, regulars in my streams, because it's an added experience. So that when I start doing these streams, as well as the continuation of the indie comic outliers, it enhances your experience. So absolutely, absolutely. Hold on. What is Bear saying? Oh, The Thing. Yes, great movie. John Carpenter's The Thing. That's another one. We could probably do that one too. But we didn't watch Party. We're still figuring this out. I'm still learning, Lady Shadowman. I'm still learning. It's one of my must watch for every Halloween regarding The Thing. Yes, absolutely. There's the link to the Discord right there. The movie definitely, The Thing definitely holds up. It definitely holds up to this day, and it has the same theme as Alien in terms of like the theme of mystery and what is it? Claustrophobia. Those themes, not the other stuff, but definitely has those themes. It works in that same way. But the monsters is definitely takes up more screen time. To the film's credit, if you want to watch great horror movies with bushes, I suggest we delve into Charles Dance's Full Moon stuff. I like some of his stuff. I didn't care for the other stuff, but I like some of Charles Band's stuff. I like Troll. Troll was a good one. Very underrated classic. So let's see, let's go here. Watch parties every week would probably be too much. I suggest it. It's up to you if you want to do it. So it's so much creepier. We talk about The Thing. Yeah, The Thing is definitely creepier to this day. It still works. And that's another movie that I think, well, it doesn't get ruined by it, hardly, but that Thing prequel that came out years later, it was totally not necessary. 2011, definitely not necessary. But what do you guys think about Bear's? I'm sorry, Guy in his Room's comment about watch parties every week being too much. Again, I suggest. Okay, here you go. Lady Shadowman says.
But you never read my text.
I'm reading it now.
Whatever.
She says once a month instead. Pick what that has been covered.
Pick one.
Okay, pick one that has been covered. Okay. So. Okay, she corrected herself. One.
Me and a guy in his room were figuring it out for you. Just leave it to us, okay?
This is undocumented work, by the way. KSS says, I'm doing okay. You were saying hi to Will and Todd. I don't need to say that part. You're saying hi to Will and Todd. Elmo says, great composer Ennio Morricone did the Thing soundtrack. Yes, Ennio Morricone, the legendary composer who also did such great films as the Man with No Name trilogy. Specifically, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly had one of the best soundtracks ever committed to film. It's a great soundtrack. Morricone was definitely underrated in terms of score composers. So I pressed on the Discord link. Why did it ask my? This is a lie. I did not put that in there, Kansas. Do not turn people away from my Discord. This is a gay op. Damn it, Kansas! You've already started the gay ops already. You haven't been in Discord for more than a few seconds, and you're already gay opping me in my own Discord. Why? Already in my own Discord. Not cool. You can't gay op me in my Discord. I'm not part of the gay op. That goes against all the rules. There are rules to gay opping. First and foremost, the leader of said Discord must be in on that gay op. Even if he's not leading the gay op, he has to be in on it. And the fact that I'm not in on this gay op is horrific and violation of Discord terms of service. KSS. I'm gonna keep my eye on you. I'm gonna keep my eye on you for sure. Wait. That's odd. It asked for my ring of peace. Where are you coming up with this stuff? What are you talking about? What are people talking about? I don't know. God, I confess, I am a member of Anonymous disguised as a member of Comicsgate disguised as an Alas Matt fan. How do you live with yourself? No, seriously, how do you live with yourself doing this stuff? Like you've no shame? None? Really? Really? I guess not. I guess you don't have shame. I guess it's a thing, right? Right? Because God forbid I run a Discord for you people to have fun in, for you people to feel welcomed and included and loved. But no, I can't have that nice thing. Not even that nice thing. I'm not allowed to have it. Feel the bushes, says Helmut. You're still in the bushes. It pays very well. Of course.
He said free the bushes.
Oh, free the bushes. So I got not nomination. I got suggestions for American Werewolf in London, The Thing, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I'm leaning more towards Cabinet of Dr. Caligari because the German expressionist silent films of that time were just, they to this day are still next level. Like Nosferatu to me is the top of it all. It's just Nosferatu is just a great horror film, great visuals, great cinematography. And there's a lot of stuff about that movie that we could talk about because that movie is just I'll save it for a stream, but I think I'm leaning more towards Dr. Caligari. But you guys want me to put a vote in the chat? Do you want me to leave it as a vote in the chat? Let's see. Let me do that. Let me set up as a vote in the chat. So I'm gonna put up a poll right now. Start a poll. Okay, you guys are gonna vote for next week's stream. So we got The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. We have American Werewolf in London. Although I am leaning more towards Caligari. But let me see what you guys think. And The Thing, 1982. Okay. So I'm gonna start the poll. And there you go. There's a poll. So I know what I want. I think I want to do Caligari, but I just want to see what you guys suggest. Horror Express with Peter. Well, that's a good one too. The Horror Express. Yeah, you know what? That is a good one. I gotta start making a list. That is a good one. It also it's another one that uses claustrophobia. In this case, a train with its horror. So yeah, and yeah, Caligari is up on YouTube, so you guys can check it out. There's a channel. So KSS, there's a channel on YouTube called Creature Features. I don't know if you guys. Let me look for it. But there's a channel called Creature Features that will show horror movies on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and they showed Horror Express. But let me get that link to that, and you guys should sub to that channel. And they do like live premieres every Friday night and Saturday night, so you guys can actually go to the chat and you can discuss while the movies are playing. But I definitely recommend it. There's the link to Creature Features. Go sub to it. I recommend that. It's good. It's a fun channel. So Horror Express was a sensational. Wait, where is it? Horror Express was a sensational genre mix. It was a great mix of sci-fi and horror. And absolutely. And I believe it was like based off a story. What was it based? Was it based off of I Am Legend? I think it was. Let me check. Before I go check that. So yeah, I put the link to Creature Features in the chat. There's a YouTube channel right here. That's the Creature Features YouTube channel. So I recommend subbing to that channel. It's a good channel. But let me see. What was Horror Express inspired by I Am Legend? Let me check. I think it was. I'm gonna check right now because I believe I read that somewhere. Horror Express. Let's see. I believe I read that somewhere. I don't remember where. Let me find out because I had it in mind that it said horror. I Am Legend, but it might have been another movie that it was inspired by. It's another story. Inspired by novel. What novel was it inspired by? It was inspired by Oh no, my fault. It was inspired by Who Goes There. Yeah, Horror Express was inspired by Who Goes There, which is the book that inspired The Thing. Okay, so yeah, it was it was inspired by The Thing. Who Goes There was the original short story. So, Who Goes There is a short story that inspired The Thing, and it also inspired Horror Express. So go check it out. Lady Shadowban says The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1920 or 1982, or Dr. Caligari 89. 1920, the silent film. 1920. That's the movie we're thinking about. KSS says he thinks to sub. Yeah, he's already subbed to Creature Features. Yeah, me too. I don't type in the chat often. I should, but yeah, absolutely. So it was. Yeah, I found out it was Who Goes There. So yeah, and I just said that. Yes, inspired by The Thing. There you go. So yeah. Guidance, has no one else seen the Portlandia Caligari skit? It has Netflix DVD in it. I honestly missed Netflix by mail. Yeah, those are the simpler days when Netflix was competing with Blockbuster Video. And as much as I hated Blockbuster Video, I did like going to the video store. And I hated it because the selection was very limited. See, I'd like the experience of going to the video store and renting out movies, but Blockbuster, they would have like 20 copies of a movie that came out recently, and it was usually a drama or some kind of stabby movie. And a lot of the horror cult movies they didn't even have. In the beginning they did, but then towards the later years they phased it out for like 20 copies of the newest movie that came out. And I was like, you don't need 20 copies of it, especially when nobody wanted to see it in the theaters anyway. Allow that. Let's chat in the chat. See if we can drum up interest in crossing over. Crossing over what? Lady Chatterman said Family Video was the best. I grew up on Ultra Video. Ultra Video was a great video store. Actually, if you had a local video store, it was the best. They had a lot of great selections. One store when I was a kid, there was a video store called Fishbone. It wasn't a video store, but it was like a convenience mart. But they had a separate section for video rentals. It was called Fishbines in Astoria, New York. And they had a lot of great selections there, including The Kindred from 1987. It was the first time that I saw the cover for Saturday the 14th. A lot of horror films and cult movies that I was exposed to from that video store. So, yeah, I remember Hollywood Video. Totally. Get the horror film. Oh, you're talking about crossing over to from Creature Features. Yeah. Okay. I missed that. You're right. I missed it. My fault. So you're talking about chat in the Creature Features chat and then crossing over there. Yeah, let's do that. We should do that. Oh, that would be awesome. And maybe like because they'll tell you which movies they're gonna do or we get advance. So if I see a movie there that we could talk about, we should go there, chat, and then we talk about it on stream here on Monday. That might be a good idea. That's not a bad idea. And Elasma and I will cross him over into the light guidance room, says KSS. Yes. I also used to go to West Coast Video, but I'm on the East Coast, ironically. And because of that, they went out of business probably. Good job, guidance room. Good job. You really are racist. Every time. We're crossing too. So KSS is suggesting, and I think it's a good idea, that we chat often in the Creature Features chat to get more people to come here. And I suggest that like we do it with a movie that we can talk about that Monday. Like if they ever showed Horror Express again, we should chat in there live, and then we can talk about Horror Express on that Monday. I can't cross without holding someone's. Well, that's what my hand is for. If you hold my hand and we cross together. A lot of that used to go into the back of the adult video store. So no joke, guys, no joke that I didn't do that, but thankfully as a kid I was exposed to that. But where was I going with that? I don't know. I was going somewhere. Quartermaster's Experiment was a good sci-fi horror movie from 1955, Hammer Studios. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that one. Maybe the horror fans come here. Maybe we go there. Maybe some like comics and aren't creepy. That would be nice. I would like a good set of comic book fans that just want comics and not drama, or weirdos and masks, catfishing and trannies. I don't want that. So maybe some normal comic book fans for once. Anyway, put all these in the D word cord. Haven't heard most of them. Yeah, that's okay. So that's what the Discord is for now. So now you can put in names of movies. We could discuss that. We could even discuss like the indie comic outliers. I'll be putting material up on there to enhance the stream experience. So it'll be more interactive, and the streams will have more meat to show for. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hold my hand and we cross together. At least a lot of that used to go under the front desk with the video. That's disgusting. How dare you? I'm not that short. I'm not that short, Ellie.
He's talking about when you were a duckling.
I'm not that short. I never was that short. Well, maybe I was, but I don't care. I'm just not. No, stop. I have a RCC for a really scary horror movie series. It's called Johnny Scab. It's a channel on YouTube. Oh God, no! You made me read. How dare you make me read that? You made me read. Ugh. Johnny Scab is a real. Yeah, he is. We shan't discuss further because I don't immortalize certain people. So we shan't not do it. KSS says Quartermass Experiment was good. One of Carpenter's favorites. Yes. Who goes next? Says Waylon Todd. Lemau. This guy is real. Lemau.
What was the vote poll?
Oh wait, let me check the vote. Yeah, the chat poll. Let's see. Where are we at?
Only 11 people.
Okay, we have how many people watch? We have 16 people watching and only 11 voted. You guys, if you haven't voted, vote in the chat. Let's see what the next topic is going to be. Next movie we're going to discuss. So let's see. So, according to the poll, Cabin of Dr. Caligari is in the lead. Yeah, I do want to review that one. So, Caligari is in the lead. We got 5 more people need to vote. Lurkers, vote. Let's see what you guys want to discuss. It seems like Caligari is going to win, but let's just see if it.
Sure it's the 1920 one that they want to watch?
Oh yeah, the silent version. No, we're doing the silent version because that's the classic one. That's the one that's influential. So apparently there's been remakes of Dr. Caligari, but we're doing the silent version because that's the one that has the beautiful imagery and it's influential and it's the very important period in film history. Okay, you put the okay. So Hellman put the link to Dr. Caligari in the Discord. Good job. So we don't got the watch party for that because it's there in Discord. It's in the materials for. Oh no, not for Caligari. He put it for the Quartermass Experiment. So you have the Quartermass Experiment in the Discord in the materials for stream. So that's there. So that could be an option for down the road. Cool. So I'll check it out. But it looks like Caligari is going to win this one. The silent one is copyright free. Oh yeah, definitely. So let's see. I didn't know they remade. I didn't know they either. I had no clue they remade Dr. Caligari. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know they made it. But definitely the 1920 version is the one we want to. So I'm a big fan of the classic movies. Some remade well, some weren't. Like, for example, The Thing had a superior remake. Actually, the original 1956 Howard Hawks version was also very atmospheric and moody. But I prefer the Carpenter version because it's the John Carpenter version is more faithful to the book. But that is a movie that we could probably talk about sometime too. So, Lady Shut Up says voting is an illusion, and Waylon Todd says too many arguments start that way. Yes. Ooh, rabbit holes, folks. Rabbit holes. Yes. Olava, did you show up your Phantom gifts yet? Oh yeah. I put it on my Twitter. But Lady Shadowbang got me a hardcover book of the Phantom of the Opera, the history of it, and it goes over all the iterations of it, including the silent version. So it was a wonderful piece that's in my library, which I'm going to look into because it'll add more to my knowledge. And she got me the DVD. She got me the DVD of the musical version of it. So that'll be interesting to watch at some point. This one is this with the who's in this one? I don't know who's in this one, but
you said you didn't have it.
Yes, I didn't have it, so I'm gonna check it out. So The Thing from Another World, yeah, that's the Carpenter version. No, the Carpenter version is The Thing. The Howard Hawks version is Thing from Another World. The Thing's Carpenter's Mountains of Madness. Yeah. So anyway, I think we're gonna call it a stream because I have to figure out what I'm gonna eat. But before I do that, let's take a look. Oh yes, we have chicken and rice, so I'm gonna heat that up. So going to the poll. Okay, so yeah, Caligari's gonna win. So we're gonna do the Cabin of Dr. Caligari for next week, and we're gonna talk about that movie. So that movie is on YouTube, I believe, right? Yeah, Cabin of Dr. Caligari. Let me just take a look here. Cabinet. If it is, I'm gonna put the link in the chat as well as in Discord. Let's see here. By the way, for those of you that are like who've been in CG for as long as I have, do you guys remember Spirit Scar? Spirit Scar, the sensational poet for Wikiverse. Do you guys remember his avatar? Well, his avatar was taken from the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Little trivia there. So, yeah, did I just get out of the stream? I did not, right? I did. Get back to my stream. Okay. Go back to the history. And here we go. And here's the link to Caligari in the chat. You guys can look at it at your own time, review it, so that when we talk about it Monday, you'll have a better sense of what we're talking about. It's there. And I guess Lord Raptor is going to be streaming. So, yes, head over to Lord Raptor's stream. And I'll be putting the link to the Caligari movie in Discord. Helmet put the link to the Quatermass Experiment on Discord. So you guys can check out Caligari and Quatermass. We'll discuss Caligari next week. Maybe we'll do this Quatermass sometime after that. So this was a very successful first stream for this type of stuff. So glad you guys can be a part of it. Spirit Scar was the cabinet of Dr. C. Yes. So yeah. It's a man. OMG. Yes, it is. I'll be looking forward to the next stream, says Massive Panda. I don't think I've ever seen this. This is the first one. Our first stream. Yeah, Caligari. Yeah, if you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. And we'll talk about it. So Lady Shadowban is urging me to eat my grapes as she prepares or warms up my chicken and rice. So with that said, I'm gonna leave you guys on this beautiful Monday evening. Thank you for stopping by, and we're going to do this again next week. Until then, take care. And you know what I'm going to go out with? My usual intro. I'm going to come up with better intros as I do more of these horror streams. But till then, take care.